Now that we've gotten through the first phase of the program, which was the flush phase, we're shifting over into the feed phase. And so we've kind of gotten our homeostasis of our body kind of in an equilibrium. And this is going to allow us to figure out, is there any other pieces of that wheel that are getting stuck? Do we need to shift to focus on improving your gut health? Maybe your gut permeability isn't as good, or you're experiencing still loose bowels, constipation, bloating, some of these issues that we see a lot of people come to us because of bacterial overgrowth or just a gut imbalance as a whole. Or are we going to shift to the hormonal side, and maybe you're having issues with facial acne, facial hair, irregular periods, or a lack of periods altogether. Maybe you're on birth control and you're considering exiting off of being on hormonal birth control. So at this time, this is where we're going to analyze where we want to really get specialized in your program and continue to, like I said, improve your metabolic rate with more food, keeping the stress to a minimum as much as possible. That's still going to be our foundation throughout this entire process, and really focusing in on how can we optimize your body from the inside out. So one thing a lot of clients will ask me is, when do I want to run labs, or do I even need to run labs at all? To be honest with you, I think it's great to get labs at some point or another so you know your baseline. Even if you're not having symptoms that say something is off with your health, when you run labs, it's giving you those data points to say, okay, this is what my estrogen, progesterone, testosterone are normally, or this is where my thyroid numbers are normally. That way you can compare and contrast down the road through your whole life and be able to have that marker to say, this is where I'm at, or this is what my normal is. Or on the flip side, if you are having some type of symptoms, it's going to give you a deeper clue to not just know how you're feeling, but to give some context to why you might be feeling that way. So I always recommend getting labs done at about that 6 to 8 week marker in our program. And there's a few options with that, whether you want to go all in and get what I consider the queen of the lab options, which is the Dutch test for your sex hormones as well as your neurotransmitters. And it can also look at some of the nutrients that a lot of people are often deficient in. And then there's also just regular blood tests that we can do for thyroid, hemoglobin A1C, and insulin, as well as different markers as well. Now, there are other specialized tests we can do for your gut, getting a stool sample, or we can also run food sensitivity tests, and then there's other options as well. Just depending on, like I said, what your symptoms are or what your health history is indicating you could be leading towards. Another option that's really cool is we do offer genetic testing. So you can get a review with a dietitian of your genetics and be able to see what your genetics are leading towards or what they could lead to based on your genetic expression. So this is where we're transitioning into the feeding phase to get your metabolism revved up and figuring out that next step to optimizing your health overall.